I'm Jenny Guzon-Bae of Jenny GB Yoga. Welcome to your 75-minute practice called Removing Your Obstacles. Now this particular practice I've developed using a block that we'll use for about 90% of this practice. So it goes along with this idea of obstacles, thus a block, right? Because it can be seen as an obstacle. Now an obstacle is something that blocks us or even hinders or kind of prevents any of our progress. But with this particular practice, we're going to use this block not to see it so much as an obstacle, but utilizing this block to actually work with our practice. As an instructor, I always see that students are not quite familiar with how to use a block. And a lot of times this block is so helpful because it allows us to be not only supported, but also allows our bodies to find more space, a little bit more clearing. So this is going to be, like I said, a pretty big portion of your practice. So I want you to notice as we're moving within this practice, you'll notice you might start to act negatively to the block, right? You might start to get confused, but the whole idea is so you can just simply go with the flow, right? Because it's a great metaphor for life. There's always going to be an obstacle that gets in our way, whether it's another car that's kind of taking up too much parking space, whether it's stress, maybe it's pain in your shoulder. But the one thing to remember is that, you cannot control the situation, you can't control other people, but you have the ability to control how you react to it, right? So notice how you react to the obstacles on and off your mat. So you can actually embrace these blocks, embrace these obstacles to move through them, to move past them, to work with them in order to move along your journey on and off your space. All right, yogis, we'll begin our practice in our seated position. All right, so before we begin, let's actually start in a comfortable seated position in a supported virasana, supported hero pose. So we're going to actually use one of our blocks. And know that throughout this practice, know that you have different heights of the block. So this is the lowest level, the second, and the highest level. So I suggest maybe start with the lowest level, and then maybe eventually do second highest. But you never want to sit on the block at the very highest. It's not very balancing. So I'm going to use one block for myself. And I'll place the block around and sit onto the block. Reach around, get some skin away from the glutes, so I can lean down against my sacrum. Even leaning to one side to bisect the calf muscles. Splitting the calves out so you see a little bit more space behind the thighs. And then I'll tuck my inner feet a little closer towards the block. Tops of the feet rooted down against your mat. And then you can even take your fingers and pass down against the toe pads of each toe to feel that rooting against the toenails as well. And then once you're set into your pose, if you feel that it's a little bit too much flexion at the knees and it's not quite comfortable, you can always, again, change the height of the block. Maybe grab another block, kind of use them as Lego blocks and support yourself a little bit higher. Or if you'd like, and that's completely not working out for you, you can always sit in a cross-legged seated position, Sukhasana. Coming into our seat, supported virasana, place your hands gently upon your thighs, palms down, maybe palms upward. Sit nice and tall, feel the tailbones, smiling nice and wide as you set your shoulder blades flat on the back. Feel that the top of the head, or rather the crown of your head, rather your head itself, is going to stack directly upon your spine. So the back of the head almost lines up with your shoulder blades and the back of your sacrum. You're seated tall in the seat. The low belly drawn in and up, engaging a little bit of that Vinyasa, feeling that lift from the pelvis all the way to the top. Just a few minutes just to close down. And then maybe from my Dharma talk, you recognize something about yourself, that there are obstacles that tend to get in your way. It could be something, like I said, a situation, maybe a person, maybe it's even yourself. Maybe you are what gets in your own way. So as you recognize that obstacle, try not to overthink it, criticize it, or even judge it. Just recognize that yes, you have things that can get in the way. And maybe knowing that this practice is your way to work through your obstacles, work with your obstacles. With that, as you're tuning inward, if you feel your breath, just notice the movement, the pattern, the texture of your breath, and even in itself, you'll find there's a blockage, an obstacle there in your breath. And so see if you can just iron out. count out your breath, 4 count, 5 count, a 6 count, inhalations and your exhalations. Finding that balanced, even flow of the breath, called samavriti. Or you can start to shift your breath in towards your ujjayi pranayama, allowing your exhales to get a little longer than the inhales, adding the constriction of the epiglottis, the very back of the throat. And so you can add that constriction on your inhale and the breath, feeling the breath. Beautiful oceanic sound, calming your mind. As you continue to keep your eyes closed, join your hands together in prayer, Anjali Mudra, and take a moment to set your sankalpa, your intention for your practice today. Bow your head downward towards your fingertips, sealing the intention in. Lift the chin, flutter the eyes open. On your next inhale, let's sweep the arms out and up towards the sky. As you exhale, go ahead and lower your right hand down and reach your left arm up and alongside your ear. A nice gentle side stretch. Root down firmly against your left sit bone, and then take your right elbow and bend it a little bit more so you're dropping the shoulder away from the ear. Roll the head of that right shoulder back so your collarbones stay wide. And then notice the direction of your torso. See if your torso is drooping downwards, so you can actually take your right rib cage and spin it towards the sky a little bit. On your next inhale, let's slowly come out of the pose and then place your left hand to the outside of your right knee or thigh, the right arm right behind you for your twist. Take an inhale, get a little longer and taller in your spine. As you exhale, rotate open, widening more through your collarbones, fixing your gaze towards your right shoulder. Keeping your twist, just a little movement through our heads. So go ahead and turn your chin forward towards your left shoulder head. And then pivot the head back towards your right shoulder head. And do that once again, towards the front. And then to the back. From here again, still keep the twist, but we're going to lower the left ear towards your left shoulder. So a little stretch in through the neck. So feel how your right shoulder blade can glide down your back to feel that stretch. And then go ahead and lift the head back to center. And then exhale, slowly release out of your twist. Again, inhale, sweep both arms up overhead. As you exhale, let's find the side stretch to the left. So spider crawl your left fingertips out, bend at the elbow, again drawing the shoulder away from the ear. Collarbones wide as you spin your left rib cage upward towards the sky. Slowly inhale, come out of the pose, and then as you exhale, we find our twist, placing your right hand outside the knee or the thigh. Anchor that left hand right behind your seat. Inhale for length, and then exhale, rotate open. Again, maintaining the twist, just a little movement through the head again. Turn your chin over towards your right shoulder head. And then pivot the chin over towards the left. Again, towards the front. And then to the back. And then from here, we'll lower the right ear downward towards the right shoulder, gliding the left shoulder blade down the back, getting our stretch in through the neck. As you inhale, lift the head, slowly release out of your twist. From here, go ahead and come off your block, and then curl the toes under against your mat. Once you're set into your toes curled under, go ahead and inhale, reach both arms up overhead. As you exhale, extend your arms forward and then send your hips back towards your heels, really getting that stretch into your toes, the soles of your feet. Again, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale again, reach the arms forward. From here, reach around, grab that block, and then bring that block forward. Free up your fingertips as you palm the block, and again, inhale, bring the block over your head as you squeeze against your palms. And as you exhale, send the hips back, offering the block forward. One more like that. Inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale to release. From here, go ahead and keep holding the block forward. Toes are still curled under, so you can start to shift your weight back to lift your knees off the mat. So you're in this little squat position here. Notice if your legs start to collapse inwards, so you can keep the thighs more parallel towards each other as you're balancing on your toes, still offering the block forward. Take another breath.
Beautiful. On the exhale, lower the heels and a forward fold. So we're going to meet towards the very back of our mat and then place a block in between your thighs where the shorter edge of the block is facing forward. So the shorter edge is kind of more flush with the tops of your thigh bones. And our feet will stay separated hip width distance. Once you're set in your forward fold, go ahead and just reach for opposite elbows, creating a square around the head. You're going to keep a soft bend in both knees as you drape your upper body, drape the arms, drape your torso. But the action in your legs here, especially within the block, is that you're spinning the block towards the back, right? So you're inner spiraling your thighs like you want to shoot the block behind you. I like to refer to it as like a Pez dispensing your block, if you know what I mean, the candy dispenser. So as your inner thighs are rotating back in space, I have a soft bend in my knees, but I'm lifting my sit bones up and away from the heels as I shift my pelvis forward a little bit. Take another breath in this position. And then slowly release your arms. Place your hands against your shins. Inhale, halfway lift, monkey pose. Same action in your inner thighs. Spin your inner thighs back. Lift your sit bones. Pull the low belly in and up. Feel that widening of your collarbones as your shoulder blades are flat on the back. And the crown of your head extending forward. So all four sides of your neck are nice and even. Use your next exhale to fold forward back against your legs. Keep the block where it is. Start to walk your hands forward, coming into a plank pose. Once you come into your plank, stack your shoulder heads over your wrists, spread your fingers out really wide, anchor down against your fingertips as you push your mat away to find that slight doming of your upper back. Same action here in your inner thighs. Spin the block upward towards the sky, push out through your heels, create just a slight tuck of the tailbone if you find yourself kind of collapsing through your belly area. So turn on a lower belly. From here, rock your weight forward to your big toes, lower the knees, lower your chest, and lower your chin all the way to the mat. Keep the block exactly where it is, and then activate your legs. So press down against the tops of your feet. So now your kneecaps are lifted. You're still inner spiraling the thighs, so the block is now shooting up to the sky. Coming into Bhujangasana Cobra. Isometrically drag your hands back as you move your chest, your ribs forward. Widen your collarbones coming into your gentle back bend. Lead with the chest as you exhale and slowly lower back downward towards your mat. Once more like that, isometrically drag the hands back. Move the ribs, widen the collarbones, lift the sternum. Exhale and slowly lower. From here, go ahead and curl the toes under. Lift your knees, firm your inner thighs. Push your mat away as you inhale for plank. Exhale for downward facing dog. Once again, walk your hands back toward your feet, coming into your standing forward fold. A little bend in both knees as you now take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Padangustasana. Use an inhale to lengthen forward in your torso. As you exhale, fold forward into your legs. So it's still quite early for this, so again, encourage you to keep your knees softly bent. So keep the inner thighs rotating back, Pez dispensing the block behind you. Let your head feel heavy. Your face relaxed, your jaw relaxed. Use your next inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, release your toes. Take the block, set it off to the side, kind of scoot it forward to the right side of your mat. From here, inhale, halfway lift, monkey pose. Exhale, we forward fold in. Inhale, walk yourself all the way forward towards plank pose. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up high in the air for a three-legged downward dog, keeping your hips square, your shoulders square. From here, go ahead and bend at your knee and then stack your right hip on top of your left. Keep your shoulders still square and the weight in both palms, pressing firmly and evenly down against your mat. If you'd like, you can go ahead and move around into your right hip, and creating circles. Maybe spin around at your ankle a few times, even point through your toes, spread out through your toes. Inhale, straighten the leg and square off through your hips. Exhale, set the foot gently back down for downward dog. Left side, inhale, lift your left leg up, three-legged dog. Shoulders square, hips are square, hip points are looking downward to the mat. Then from here, go ahead and stack up your hips, left hip on top of the right, knee pointing towards the sky. Again, keeping your balanced weight against your palms, the squaring of the shoulders. Spin around a few times into your left hip socket. Again, maybe you'll move around at your ankle, point and flex, spread the toes. Inhale, go ahead and straighten out the leg. Exhale, set the foot gently to the mat. Inhale, come high in the balls of your feet. Stay on the ball mounts of your toes as you slowly tiptoe forward toward your hands. Lowering the heels when you need to. until eventually you come towards the top of your space, keeping both feet still separated, hip width distance apart. And exhale, forward fold in. Go ahead and then grab the block that's over to the right. Slide the block back in between your inner thighs, short edge facing forward. This time bend both knees and come into Utkatasana this way. So keeping a block in between your inner thighs is a great way to kind of work on the inner thigh strength, but also creating a little bit more of that pelvic stability in your posture. So as you're here, again, you're still feeling that inner spiral of thighs. Keep the weight more to your heels rather than pitching all the weight forward to your toes. I'm finding just a little bit more balance through the four corners of each foot. And then feel your upper body lift up so the ribs are pulling up and away from the pelvis. Take one more breath here. Beautiful. With your exhale, forward fold in, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift, monkey pose. Take the block, set it to the right, place your palms flat, step back, plank pose. From your plank pose, rock your weight forward, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Use your next inhale to lift your right leg high in the air, three-legged dog. As you exhale, hug your knee towards your chest to step the foot forward next to your right hand. Drop your back knee down to the mat, release your toes, grab a hold of your block, and then place your block in between your hands, and you're palming the block, so free up the fingers. As soon as you grip the block with your fingers, you're just using your hands. So if you free up the fingers and you palm the block, offering the block forward, go ahead and now plug the heads of the arm bones back into their shoulder sockets. Keep palming the block, and on the inhale, bring the arms up overhead. So feel here as you're pressing inwards, you're abducting, right? You're squeezing inward with your inner arm strength. Fingers are free, shoulders down and away from the ears. We've got our low lunge. We're sinking down and forward and through our pelvis. Take another breath here. Then as you exhale, go ahead and bend into your elbows and then tuck the block at the base of your skull. Lean your head back against the block as if it were a pillow, but then stay active. You're still squeezing the block with your palms. Wrap your triceps forward as you lift your elbows up and feel how your upper body, again, is still lifting up and away from the pelvis. With your next inhale, bring the block up overhead, place the block into your right hand, and then lower the block down towards the right side of your mat. Adjust the height of the block that you need, and then placing your right hand on the block, left arm up and alongside the ear as you exhale for a side stretch. Take one more breath here. Keep the block over to the right side of the mat. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. With your exhale, go ahead and lower your hands, frame up your right leg for half split Ardha Hanuman. Shift your hips back to stack over your left knee. Come onto the heel of your front foot. Spread out wide within the toes as you dig your heel down against your mat. From here, go ahead and exhale, lunge back into the front knee, sinking the hips, the pelvis forward. Get that nice stretch in through your psoas. And then go back into your half split, straightening through the leg, maybe lunging towards the shin. And again, exhale, we lunge in. Inhale to straighten up. One more like that. Exhale and lunge. Inhale, straighten, and we'll hold Ardha Hanuman, half split. So decide here if you actually need to use more than one block, right? So block on hands are very helpful. Again, a lot of times you feel like, how do I use my block? Here it is. It brings the floor closer to you. So here I got one block by me. So I'm going to place this so you can see. Just placing the hand on the block. So it allows you to feel that lift, right? Rather than you really working and struggling to find the floor. Take another breath in your half split position. And then from here, inhale, look up, get length. As you exhale, walk your hands to the outside of your right leg for a stretch into your IT band. So your block is to the right, so you know you can always place your hand on the block. Again, know that you can always grab more than one block if you need it. We're going to come to the outside of your right heel. I like to spin my back foot around so I'm not torquing at the knee. I feel like it's a better protection for the knee. Once you're set, I want you to feel your right outer heel dig down against your mat and then feel like you're trying to drag your leg back and towards your right hip so that you can feel that stretch down the outer part of your leg. Nice. From here, as you release, take a hold of your block as you pivot forward. Take that block forward and just place it over to the left side of your mat. Plant your hands flat, step back, plank pose. Inhale, rock the weight forward. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do our left side. Inhale, lift the left leg up high, keeping your shoulders square, your hips square. As you exhale, hug your knee to the chest to step forward. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Lower the back knee. Grab a hold of the block. Hold the shorter edges of the block. Once again, freeing up the fingertips. Offer the block forward, but then plug the heads of the arm bones back into the shoulder sockets, shoulders down and away from the ears. Next, inhale, bring the block up overhead. Again, actively push your palms against the block. So you're really kind of working on that strengthening of your arms. As you exhale, bend at your elbows. Tuck the block behind your head. Rest your head gently against that block like it's a pillow. Point the elbows to the sky as you wrap your triceps forward. Feel your front ribs snuggle closer to your back ribs. Create a little bit more support of your spine. Take one more deep breath. Then inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Place the block only into your left hand. Lower the block down to the left side of your mat. Again, adjust the height of the block that you might need, right? And then we find our exhale for the side stretch over. So feel here that the goal is not to dump all the way over to the left side. You want to feel lift and extension. Keep the block where it is. Inhale, both arms reach up. As you exhale, half split, Ardha Hanuman. Slide the hips back to stack over your right knee. Come onto the heel of the left foot. And again, you decide if you need 2 blocks underneath your hands. Once you're set here, let's do a little dynamic movement. Exhale, lunge deep into the front knee. Sit your pelvis down and forward. And then inhale, we straighten out. Again, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, half split Ardha Hanuman to hold, hands on blocks or not. Dig the heel down against the mat as you isometrically try to drag that heel back. Fire up the back chain of the leg. Once you're set here, decide to stay upright, maybe a few moments as you're reaching forward and downward. Inhale, lift the chest, lift your gaze. Coming into that IT band stretch, walk both hands to the outside of your left leg rather. Again, your block is over to your left, so you can always use that block as a bit of support, bringing the floor closer towards you. You can spin your right foot around so it's just onto the floor, again, so you're not really kind of torquing at that knee. Push the outer left heel against the mat and trying to drag that leg back. Okay, so you feel that stretch on the IT band. Beautiful. From here, go ahead and pivot forward, slide the block forward towards the top of your mat. Plant your palms, inhale, step back to plank pose, collarbones wide. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Palms are flat, heels are heavy, soft bending through both knees. Imagine you still have that block in between your inner thighs because your inner thighs are still finding that inner spiraling. Low belly pulled in and up. Take one more breath in your down dog. And use your inhale, lift the heels, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, walk, step, or hop forward to the top. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold in. Inhale, rise us down. Circle the arms out and up. See your palms touch. And then exhale, seal the hands right to your heart. Samastitihi. Let's add a few Surya Namaskar A's. Inhale, circle the arms out and up. Exhale, lead with the chest as you hinge at the hips, forward fold in. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Palms flat, walk, step, or hop back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press the tops of the feet. Lift your knees, lift your thighs. Feel the heaviness of your pelvis as you lift through the chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Feet set hip width distance. Toes are light, heels are heavy. Engage your low belly as you feel the front ribs squeeze a little closer to the back ribs, creating a little bit more lengthening into your back. Then empty out your next exhale. Inhale, lift the heels, look to your hands. Exhale, walk, step, or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold in. Inhale, rise and stand, see the arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, hands right to your heart, Samastitihi. Again, inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold it forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. Palms flat, feet back, gaze forward, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, lift through the sternum, widen your collarbones. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe here. Feel the connection of your hands against the mat, rooting down against the fingertips, applying just a little bit more of the pressure against your inner hand, the bases of your index fingers and the bases of the thumbs. You can take the eyes of the elbows and start to work them to look forward towards the front of your mat. Notice how that wraps your outer arms back, like you're trying to hollow out the armpits. That in turn is going to keep the shoulder blades flat on the back, allowing for some space into your neck. Take one more breath. Then use your inhale, lift the heels, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we forward fold in. Rise and stand. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, hands right to your heart. Samastitihi. Again, inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, fold and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, get length. Palms flat, gaze forward, throat open, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. So anytime during this practice, if you like and are very fond of your Sun A's and you want to add a few more, you can take an opportunity to add a couple more if you'd like. Kind of join in whenever you'd like. Any point too, vinyasas are always optional, so you can always skip them. Kind of notice when you feel like your body is a bit fatigued, maybe your shoulders aren't feeling quite right today. It's always good just to skip it. Right? Listen to your body a bit more. Hold for one more breath here. All right, then use your inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop forward. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, we forward fold in. This time, go ahead and separate your feet. Reach for the block. We're going to sit on our block in a supported malasana. So again, know that you can always adjust the height of the block. Right? Again, maybe the second highest. You want to feel balanced. Don't want to feel like you're teetering onto your block. Again, don't do it at the third highest. I really won't work out too well for you. So once you set yourself onto your block and you're perched on the block, take your upper arms, squeeze them inside your inner knees, palms together in prayer. Press against the metatarsals of your fingers and the heels of your hands as you start to aim the wrists and the forearms down to the mat so you see that your elbows are more in line with the wrists. And as you're pushing your arms against your legs, press the legs back against the arms. Feel that lift of the upper body away from the grounding of your pelvis. Root down firmly against your heels. Hold here in your prayer squat. Beautiful. Then from here, we're going to practice Bakasana, crow pose, on our block. So we're going to take that block, set it at the lowest height, and then go ahead and place the block probably about a quarter way to the top of your mat. Right? We're going to keep that block exactly there after we practice our crow. So go ahead and perch your toes onto your block. Right? And separate your knees. You want to line up your shins against your upper arms for a crow. Hands are set at shoulder distance, if not just slightly wider. Spread your fingers out really wide. So once you're set, practicing crow on a block is kind of a great way to kind of feel that lift, right? And so maybe you're just lifting one foot, then the other foot, and eventually so you can actually start to lift both feet off the mat and then push against your mat. So you're finding that rounding of your upper back, pull the belly in and up, maybe the heels a little closer towards your sit bones, gaze us forward, breath is still deep, and then we'll shoot it back, Chaturanga Dandasana, keeping the block where it is. Inhale, up dog, maybe you feel your thighs gently touch the block. Exhale, downward dog. Once again, leave the block where it is. See that the block is kind of more in line with your forehead, right? With your next inhale, lift your right leg up high in the air, hips are square. As you exhale, knee to nose, core plank, shift your weight forward, hollow out the belly as you lift your thigh up into your rib cage. Inhale, extend your leg back and up. Exhale again, hug your knee into the chest, engage the core, push against your mat. Inhale, extend your leg up. Exhale, hug your knee in towards your chest. Push against your mat. Find all that space underneath your body. Step your foot over the block. Keep the block where it is. Turn your back foot flat, setting up your feet like a warrior two stance, heel to arch. And then just simply walk both arms out diagonally to the left. Right, so it's like you're reaching out towards the left corner of the room. Maybe you'll tense your fingertips or even ground your palms flat, you choose. You want to feel here like you're pushing the floor forward, right, away from you as you send your hips back. Feel your right inner thigh press up against your right side of your belly and your rib cage. As you exhale, walk both hands back in onto your mat. Take the block and set it to the inside edge of your foot. Again, adjusting the height of the block that works better for you. Right hand on the block. Inhale, reach your left arm straight up in the air for a moment, stacking wrist over wrist. Then from here, turn the pinky downward to the mat as you extend the arm alongside your ear, coming to the supported version of its side angle. Supported Utthita Parsvakonasana. So you don't want to have your hand kind of dumping down against your block, right? It's at support to bring the block closer towards you. Again, a lot of times when you're kind of unsure, you don't know how to use your block, this is a great way to, again, to bring the floor closer to you. Take another breath here. Now from here, we're just going to create some circles within the arms, kind of moving into our shoulder socket. Beautiful. After 3 circles in one direction, reverse that. Still staying active through the rest of the body. The back of your right arm still pressing against your inner knee. From here, keep the block where it is. Inhale, reverse your triangle stance. So reach your right arm up and back, soft bend in your front knee. Lift the right rim of the pelvis up and back, or a little kind of disco bump into your hips. As you exhale, windmill both hands downward to the mat. Keep the block exactly where it is. Step back to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Try not to touch your block. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sticking with the right leg, inhale, lift the right leg up. Same leg. Exhale, step the foot forward, come into a runner's lunge. So try and check out your stance, stand the ball of the back foot, grab a hold of your block, palm the block like we did earlier in our low lunge, free up your fingertips. Set your legs first so you can get your right knee over your right heel, traction the kneecap forward towards your second and middle toe. Sit into the hips a little bit without dumping against your low back. So lift the front row of the pelvis up, slight tuck of the tailbone. Inhale, bring the block up overhead. Again, squeeze in through the block. Wrap your triceps forward, shoulders down and away from your ears. From here, go ahead and offer the block forward. Place the block only into your right hand. And as you exhale, open the arms to twist. Beautiful. From here, inhale, bring the block forward. Take an exhale here. Inhale, bring the block up overhead. Beautiful. Now just kind of adding a little bit more of the breath in the movement. Bring the block forward. Exhale, twist. Inhale, bring the block forward and up overhead. Lower the block. Exhale, twist. Bring the block forward and inhale, bring the block up. Last one. Exhale, twist, hold here. Now straighten your front knee out without locking it, and then feel like you're pushing the block against the wall. Like you can feel the short edge of the block touching a wall. So you're reaching back, lift the front rear of the pelvis, firm the belly in, squeeze your inner thighs. Come back to your high lunge, palming the block. Inhale, bring the arms up. As you exhale, bring the block down to the mat. Set it at the lowest level, a few inches away from the inside of your foot for a revolve lunge. Left hand stays. Inhale, reach your right arm up in the air. Spin your left rib cage towards your right inner thigh, as your inner thigh is kind of moving closer towards the rib cage. With your exhale, lower your right hand down. Make sure the block is set at the lowest level. Short edge is facing forward. Step your left foot onto the block. From here, hands to the hips. Inhale, just simply come up to stand. So your left foot's on the block. Make sure that you're not gripping the block with your toes, right? So you want to free the toes as well. From here, shift your weight against your left leg. Inhale, lift your right knee up, and then interlace your fingers around your shin. Either flex your right foot, point through the toes, or floint it, but make sure the leg is active, and press the shin bone forward against your fingertips. So you can keep your thigh more parallel to the ground as you're plugging the head of the femur bone into the hip socket. From here, release your leg. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Now keeping the knee bent, reach that, or open your leg off to the right, and then come into tree pose. So either place your foot into your calf or reach for your ankle to hike that foot up against your inner thigh, avoiding any part of the inside of your knee. Once you're set, squeeze your foot into your thigh back into your foot. Make sure you can keep your pelvis neutral here. A lot more challenging now that you're on your block, right? So see how you can embrace the obstacle. If you fall, you fall. Just reset, right? That's how it is when things get in our way. We try not to judge. We try not to over-criticize. We just fall off and get right back up. Turn your palms forward, lock your thumbs. Try to pull the arm bones apart as you pulling your thumbs apart, staying in your tree. Whoop. Beautiful. From here, come back to your crane, hands to your heart, taking that right knee forward. Just like me, if you need a pit stop the leg. Take one more breath. Beautiful. From here, now interlace your fingers around your right thigh. Barrel the thigh bone down against your fingers so your arms are straight, your chest is lifted, and then so you can straighten your right leg forward. Use your hands, pull the thigh bone back so you're kind of a little bit more in that neutral pelvis, finding a natural curve in the low back. Either stay here, or if you feel you can maintain the neutral pelvis, inhale, extend both arms up overhead. Hold another 3, 2, on 1, lower your right foot down next to the block. Inhale, lift the left leg up and pause, all right? Maybe circle around into that right foot. Feels a little weird, right? Now that you're on the ground. With your exhale, step your left foot back, runner's lunge for just a moment. Inhale, look up. Exhale, lower the hands down. Take the block into your right hand. Left hand stays. Side plank, Vashisthasana. Toe heel your right foot over. Maybe pause at the halfway point if you need it for more support. Or stack your right leg on top of your left leg. Maybe even stagger your right foot in front of your left foot if you like. Once you're set in your plank, side plank rather, push the block upward towards the sky, stacking through wrist over wrist. As you exhale, take the block and thread it underneath your left side waist. Inhale, bring the block back up. Exhale, thread it under. Inhale, up. So just a little bit of oblique work. Last one, exhale, thread under, hold, hold, hold. Set the block to the left side of the mat. Find plank pose, inhale, rock the weight forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment. Again, gather your breath. Then inhale, lift the heels, look forward. Walk, step, hop forward to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Malasana, prayer squat, separate the feet, sit on your block, adjust the block accordingly. Snuggle the inner arms inside your inner knees. Hands to your heart. Press the heel of the hands down, aligning your elbows with the wrists. Pause, find the breath. Just take a moment, enjoy the pause. Right? Whenever there's something in our way, sometimes you just kind of continue to barrel through. Sometimes just taking a moment in the pause after we cleared the path is a great way to feel that clearing of our minds. So do that, and at the same time, find the deep breath again. All right, one more time for crow pose, Bakasana, perched up onto your block. So once again, place that block about a quarter of the way forward to the top of your mat. Bring your toes on top of the block. Ground your palms flat, slide your shins against your upper arms, knees towards your armpits. Look slightly forward as you tip your weight forward, lifting one foot, the other foot, playing with that, or slowly starting to lift both feet off the block. Push against your mat, round your upper back, almost like you feel those upper back, or the shoulder blades spread apart like you do an eagle. Hold for another breath. Shoot the legs back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward face. Exhale, downward face. Inhale, lift your left leg up high, shoulder square, hip square. Knee to nose, core plank, shift your weight forward, hollow out the front body. Inhale, lift your leg back and up. Exhale again, knee to nose. Inhale, reach your leg back and up. Exhale, hug your knee into your chest. Again, push against your mat. Get all that space underneath you so you can quietly step your foot over the block, coming into your warrior two stance in the legs. Walk both arms out diagonally to the right. Take a few moments here, again, letting the head dangle between your upper arms. Tense your fingertips or place your palms flat, but so you can push the floor forward as you extend both hips back. Another breath. Use your exhale, walk your hands back in. Take the block and set it to the inside edge of your left foot. Adjust the height of the block you need. Left hand on the block. Inhale, reach your right arm up in the air to begin. Turn the pinky down to the ground as you extend the arm alongside your ear. Press to the outside edge of your right foot. Feel the arch of your foot lifted so you actually feel like you're zipping your right inner thigh up so you're not dumping deep into your hips. Feel that buoyancy in your hips. With your arm alongside your ear, plug the head of the arm bone into the socket. Allow for your neck to feel free and open. And go ahead and circle out through that arm. Big circles, kind of moving into that shoulder joint. Once you've done 3 in one direction, reverse and do 3 in the other direction. Nice. After that third one, go ahead and reverse your triangle stance. Straighten your left knee out. Reach your left arm up and back. Again, disco bump your hips up and back a little bit so it gets a little bit more space in your low back. Exhale, windmill both hands downward towards your mat. Keep a block where it is. Step back to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga, hover over your block. Inhale, upward face. Exhale, downward face. Inhale, lift your left leg high in the air. Exhale, runner's lunge. Step the foot forward. Train track out your stance. Stay high in the ball of the back foot. Grab the block. Hold the short edges of the block for your fingertips. Again, plug the head of the arm bones back in the shoulder sockets. Engage your legs, lifting up through the front rim of the pelvis. Inhale, bring the block up overhead. Again, squeeze that block. Engage your arms. Shoulders away from the ears. Go ahead and bring the block forward. Place the block into your left hand. And as you exhale, open the arms to find a twist. Bring the block forward. Palm the block. Inhale, bring the block overhead. Again, along with the breath, forward. Exhale, twist. Inhale, bring the block forward and up. Exhale, block forward and twist. Inhale, block forward and up. Exhale, find the twist, hold a twist. Then straighten your front knee out without locking it. Squeeze your inner thighs. Imagine like you're pushing the block towards a wall. You got the connection of the block to the wall. Shoulders away from the ears, belly pulled in. Hold. Inhale, back for your high lunge. Reach the arms up, the block up. Free the fingers. Exhale, lower the block to the mat. Short edge facing forward, about maybe 6 inches away from the inner edge of the foot. Right hand will stay to the block. Revolve it. Inhale, left arm up. Rotate your right rib cage towards your inner thigh. Press the thigh bone of the back leg up to the sky as you push firmly through your heel. With your exhale, lower the left hand. Again, make sure your block is set at the lowest height. Short edges facing forward. Step your right foot onto the block. Make sure your toes are not gripping. Inhale, lift the chest up. All right. So take your time to find that balance. Make sure your foot is firmly grounded. I've got right now really very soft foam block, so it requires a lot of balance. So adjust it. Shift your weight into your right leg, and then lift your left knee up, standing crane. Interlace the fingers around your shin. Again, once you're set, point the toes, flex, floint, whatever is good for you. Push the shin bone forward against your palms. Lift through the chest. Keep your knees still bent. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Open the knee over to the left. Tree, Vrikshasana. Place your foot to the calf or reach for your ankle. Hike the foot up against your inner thigh, avoiding any part of your knee. Take your time. Once you're set into your tree pose, again, push your foot against your inner thigh, the thigh back against your foot. Try not to let your pelvis shift all the way over to the right. All right, you see a lot of that. Front ribs to back ribs. Palms will now face forward. Lock at your thumbs. Feel like you're trying to pull the thumbs apart, engaging through the upper arms, shoulders away from the ears. Again, just dealing with all this wavering around, because that's how it is in life, right? Things get in our way, and you gotta see, can I work through it? Beautiful. Release, pivot the knee forward on the inhale. Keep the knee bent, interlace the fingers around your left thigh bone. So once you're holding on to the back of the leg, right at the hamstrings, barrel down against your palms, lift the chest up a little bit more. Then so you can kick the heel forward, using your hands, now plug the femur bone back into the hip socket, right? Either stay supported like so, or reach both arms up overhead on an inhale. With your next exhale, lower the left foot down. Inhale, crane on your right side. It's gonna feel so weird. Circle around that right ankle. Exhale, high lunge, step back, set your legs. No blocks, everything's free, everything's open. Take another breath. Exhale, lower both hands down to the mat. Right hand stays down, left hand holds the block for side plank Vashisthasana. Stagger that left leg over or come into the supported version of it. Maybe you'll stack your feet or place your left foot in front of your right foot. Once you're set in your side plank that you need, go ahead and exhale, thread the block underneath your right side waist. Inhale, bring the block back up. Exhale, thread through. Inhale, up. Exhale, thread through. Hold here, hovering that block. Another 3, 2, gently set the block to the right. Find plank pose. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward face. Exhale, downward facing dog. Connect with your breath. One more moment. All right, then inhale, lift the heels, look forward, walk, step, skip it, come to the top. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. This time, separate the feet, take the block, place the block and wedge it in between the feet. Lowest height, place the shorter edges against the inside edges of your feet, like we're doing with our hands. Squeeze that block in with your inner feet. Right? Once you're there, bend both knees. Come into the chair pose this way. So imagine that you've got another block in between your thighs. We won't place one there, but you don't want to knock the inner knees in, right? So you want to feel like there's another block in between our thighs. So we're still inner spiraling the thighs. We're squeezing the block between your feet. And you can feel all that leg action here. Maybe sit a little deeper into your hips, lift the chest, take another breath. Beautiful. With your next exhale, start to lower the hips all the way downward to the mat. Hands or no hands. Navasana with a block in between our feet. So you're still holding a block with the feet, right? Either keep the knees bent, shins parallel to the ground, or straighten out the legs. Pick your poison, right? I'm gonna bend my knees. So once you're set here, lift out of your lower back, hold for another 5, 4, activate the inner legs, squeeze the block, 3, 2, on 1. Bring your back body onto the mat. I'm gonna shift around so I'm not gonna crush my mic. And then go ahead and extend the legs up. So you still got that block in between your feet. Maybe reach for it, kind of adjust it. Squeeze inward. Right away, fire up your inner leg line. Reach both arms up overhead. Shoulders away from the ears. From here, as you inhale, lower your legs. Let them just simply hover over the mat. Beautiful. As you inhale, go ahead and lift the block back up, the legs up, arms up, switch the block into your hands, and then exhale, open it up. So the block's now in the hands. Legs and the arms are hovering, belly strong. Go ahead and now switch, place the block in between your feet, lower both legs. And again, block and arms up. And switch. So you can continue that, moving along with your breath. Slower is definitely harder. Try not to rush it. Just be more mindful of the movement and the engagement of the core. Try not to lower the legs so much where then all of a sudden you lose a lot of that lower back connection. You want to feel like you're really engaged through your core, squeezing your front ribs downward towards your mat. Let's do one more so we end up with the block in between our feet. And then once the block's in between the feet, adjust it. Again, make sure you've got that firm connection of the block. Go ahead and bring the arms back up overhead, hover the legs back down over the mat, hold here. And then from here, you're gonna roll over toward your right, or rather to your left. So turn to your left. You're gonna be on the floor, no big deal. You can place both hands underneath the shoulders like you're in cobra pose. You're squeezing that block in, extend it up through your legs, and then from here, just pulse your leg just 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Keep the block where it is. Use your hands to go ahead and roll back onto your back. Bring the block back up overhead. Place the block in between your hands. As from here, I need to bend my knees. I'm going to slide the blocks to my side, just a little off to the side so they're out of my way. And again, legs overhead. Lower the legs to let them hover. Arms overhead, let it hover. Roll over to your right this time. And my mic might get in the way. So once you roll over to your right, again, holding the block, free the fingertips, free up your legs. Go ahead and pulse the arms up and down with the block 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Beautiful. From here, go ahead and roll onto your back. Again, I need to adjust because I've got my mic on my side. Roll onto your back, keeping that block in between your hands. Lift the legs, place the block in between your inner feet. Make sure that that block, again, you're holding the shorter edges of the block. Just make sure I still got my mic with me. Then from here, bend both knees, reach the arms up overhead. Go ahead and lift the chin, lift the shoulder blades off the mat. Hold here, hover, squeeze to that block. Another 3, 2, and 1. You're gonna roll up to find prayer squat malasana. Nice. Maybe you had to use your hands, maybe not, but you know, the good thing is I don't get to see you, so you'll end up eventually, like me, blocked still between the feet. Now here, you can do the same thing we did earlier in our crow pose, perch both feet onto the block, or keep the block in between your feet and practice crow pose this way. So once you're set, hands down, sign your knees against your upper, in your armpits, shins against your upper arms. Go ahead and lift the block up with your feet. Nice. Now, I don't want you to shoot the block behind you because we're going to need the block to the top, right? But if you want to play with that, you can always play with that. Again, when you're in a community class, you don't want to shoot it into someone behind you. So once you're set and you play with your crow pose here, you can have the option. I don't have space in front of my mat, but if you have the option here to lower the crown of the head, coming into tripod headstand, keeping the block in between your feet, and then lowering back down, eventually with that block still between the feet. Set the block to the side. Go ahead and just step back. Come into downward facing dog. All right. So back in your downward facing dog, just look where you place your block. You want to make sure it's towards the right corner of your mat. Right. Take another breath. Then inhale, lift the heels, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop forward. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Keeping the toes connected, bend both knees, reach for the block and just place it to the outside edge of your right foot. Again, adjusting the height later on if you need to. Come back to chair pose. No blocking between our feet, no blocking between our inner thighs. We can still feel that action. We're squeezing inward, activating the inner legs. With your next exhale, half chair, Ardha Utkatasana. Send the hips back, the arms forward. Then bring your hands together at your heart in prayer. Twist to the right. So slide your left elbow outside your right knee and thigh, palms together in prayer. Keep your elbows in line with your wrists. Push against the heel of the hands as you squeeze the heel of the hands towards the back of your space. Find a lengthening of your spine as you're rotating. From here, place your left hand down onto the block, right arm up in the air. Again, adjust the height of the block, bring the floor closer to you. Sit your hips back a little bit. Stay a little lighter through the toes. Beautiful. Hand on the block or not, shift your weight against your right foot. Step your left foot back for a lunge. Nice. Once you're set here, feel free to stay hand on the block. Maybe bring both hands together in prayer. Your way, your version. Hold another breath. Beautiful. As you exhale, lower your hands down, frame your front leg. Inhale, straighten your front knee out. Just get a little clearance of the hip in a long pyramid. And then exhale, lunge into your front knee, spin your back foot flat, grab a hold of your block for warrior 2 with the block in your front hand. Now, turn your palm up so you're holding the block up. So you have a different rotation at the shoulders of each arm. There's an external rotation of the front arm, slight internal rotation of the back arm. Upper body is stacked over the pelvis, legs are strong. Feel like you're squeezing your heels in towards each other, right? So everything's gonna stay the same in our warrior two except for this right arm. We're gonna do what's called teacups, right? So imagine like your block is a teacup. You've probably seen this before. So from here, you'll go ahead and bend at your elbows, spin the block in, and then you'll spin the block forward, and then reverse the warrior, right? And we're gonna try that once again, right? Palm is up, hold the block, use your fingertips to hold the block, spin that block in, spin it back around, exhale, reverse warrior. Nice. One more like that. Reverse warrior. Beautiful. From here, come back for your warrior two. Straighten your front knee out. Prepare for your triangle stance using the block. So pivot from the pelvis, reach out nice and long. Place the block down to the inside or outside of your foot. Hand on the block. Adjust the block accordingly to your degree. Keep using the block even if you normally don't. And just kind of notice, right, just today how you just maybe have a bit more space. Keep the front knee softly bent as you pull up on your quads. Draw your low belly in and up. Maybe just a little tug of the tailbone, just a slight one, just to feel more opening in your low back. Take another breath. Gaze down, half moon, using your block. So walk that block forward about 12 inches diagonally to your right pinky toe, and then shift and lift. Right? Again, use your block. Fix your gaze. That helps for balance. And again, there's a soft bend in the standing knee, so you pull up on the quads, engage your glutes, supporting your hips. Take another breath. Hold on to your block with your right hand, so grip it with your fingers this time. So you can switch the block to your top hand. So left hand comes down, switch it to your left hand, block is now to the sky. Hold another 3, 2, on 1. Step your left foot back. Find goddess in your legs. Turn your toes out, heels in, bend at the knees. Place the block overhead and then on your head, right? So if you got a cork block, be very, very careful. So either hold the block if you feel you can't get that balance, but if you can balance that block on your head, right, cactus out your arms. Then if you feel you got really good balance, eagle your right arm over your left arm, Garandasana, right over the left. Elbows lift, in line with the tops of the shoulders. Nudge your elbows, your outer wrists forward. Pull in and up through your belly, sit a little deeper into your hips. Aim your inner knees toward your pinky toes. Hold another 3, 2, on 1, unravel the arms. Hold on to that block. Inhale, extend the arms up as you straighten to the legs. Pivot your legs forward, warrior 1. Right knee bent, step your left foot a little to the left. Ground the foot. Press your palms against the block. Again, fingers are free. Hold another 3, front ribs to back ribs. 2, and 1. From here, place the block in your left hand. Right hand for your hip. Step the left foot in, coming into more of your pyramid stance. For now, Pavarita Trikonasana, twisted triangle pose. Block in the left hand. Start to inhale, hinge forward, lengthen away from your pelvis. As you exhale, place the block inside or outside of the foot, right? So a lot of times, I see this in class, right? A lot of students don't really utilize this block in this particular position. For me personally, I think it allows you to find a lot more space, a lot more length. So play with it, right? Where you place the block, the height of the block, right? Embrace the assistance the block is giving you rather than seeing it as an obstacle. One more breath. Beautiful. With the exhale, lower your right hand gently down. From here, we're going to go ahead and step the left foot back. And then coming into pigeon pose, place the block a little further back. So when you walk your right foot over and you lower the shin, adjust the block so it's supported underneath your right hip. Right? And that might actually help you to bring that right shin forward a bit more in line with the top of your mat. Then firmly flex the foot. So you're digging the outer edge of your foot against the mat. It's going to help support the knee. And then once you're here, feel free to stay upright or walk your hands forward and fold in. Right? Then once you're set here, again, maybe you don't even use a block and pigeon. Right? Sometimes I don't need it, but just coming into here, there's just a different sensation. So just a way to change up your practice, change up what you feel. Sometimes we know that, some postures come so easily to us that it just feeds the ego more than anything. But once you kind of change it up a little bit, there's more to discover, more to feel. So again, with that block supporting the thigh, so you can actually take your left thigh and wrap it downward, the outer thigh downward to the mat. So you're just finding a little bit more squaring of that lower back, or through the sacrum. Take a few moments, breathe here. One more breath. Beautiful. Then from here, we're going to go ahead and prop back onto our hands. Leave the block where it is as you now come into a three-legged downward dog. Sweep your right leg back and up. Give it a little shake in the air. Then go ahead and step the foot forward. You can go and lower the back knee downward to the mat. All right, so from here, toe heel your right foot over to the side. Left hand, you can place the block underneath your left hand, again, for a little bit more height as you now reach your right arm forward and around to catch your left foot. Right? Once you've got that foot, kick the foot against your hand, open up through your chest. Again, maybe you don't need the block, so you can always set it off to the side and then keep your hand on the mat, or lower your left forearm down onto the mat, or even down on that block again. And just releasing out of the quads of the left leg. Let your right leg kind of splay out to the side without collapsing to the pinky edge of your foot. So you want to support at that ankle, right? So less sickling. Take another breath. And then exhale, slowly release your back leg. From here, toe heel your right foot over so you can frame it. You'll take your block and slide it a little further back to the right. Coming back in towards half split first, and then you'll take your left hand to split that left calf muscle again so you can sit inside of that left heel. So we've got like a half hero in our left leg. Again, once you bisect out that calf, gives you a little bit more space as you hug the inner foot against your hip. If you need to, or if it's too much on the knee, feel free to sweep the foot around like Janushirasana, right? So once we're set here, notice the hips, right? Sometimes we might be pitching too much weight to your right side, like so. So you can take your block again, place it underneath your right hip, so that it allows you to lift up from the pelvis, kind of balancing out the pelvis a little bit. Stay active through your front foot. You have the option to stay upright, or coming into Triyang Mukha Kapata Paschimottanasana. Go ahead and extend the arms forward, hold the foot or not. Lead with the chest, the sternum, gazing towards the toes or downward towards your shin. And just breathe here. So again, just kind of seeing how we can use our prop, our block, as a way to support our postures a little bit more, helping us to find more space, more sensation. Take another breath. Start to walk the hands back in. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to slowly release. Go ahead and walk yourself all the way forward. Take that block, slide it to the top of your space. Step back, find plank pose, either down dog or rock the way forward. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva, upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho, downward facing dog. All right, another breath. And we'll start back at the top of our mat. So inhale, lift the heels, look forward, walk, step, or hop forward to the top. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Take the block, place it to the outside edge of your left foot, bend the knees, back foot Utkatasana. Get heavy through the hips, the heels. Lift your upper body, lift the rib cage away from the pelvis. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana. Lengthen through the spine, reach the arms forward, hands to heart, turn and twist to your left. Right arm outside the leg. Palms in prayer, squeeze the heel of the hands back so you can line up the elbows, the forearms, the wrists. Either stay or place your right hand down onto the block, left arm up in the air. And again, if you need to, change up that height of the block that gives you just a bit more space that you might need. Either stay with the arms open, your hand on the block, or bring them to prayer. Left foot stays very slowly. Lift your right foot up and back, stepping on the ball of the foot, coming into your twisted lunge, right? So you decide, keep your hand on the block in the open arm position, maybe hands to the heart, hold, exhale, release. Frame your front foot, come into a long pyramid stance just to find some clearance through the hip. And then find warrior two in the legs. Left heel, right arch. Left hand hands the block. Windmill up. Okay, palm up in the left hand, holding that block. Palm down in the right hand. Again, different rotation at the shoulders. Stack your upper body over the pelvis. Sit into the hips. Zip your heels towards each other. Then we're going to teacup the left arm. Again, palm is up. Spin the block inward towards you. Away, back and front, exhale, reverse. Come back to warrior two, try it once again. Spin that block in, imagine like again, it's a teacup, right? You don't want to spill that water, or the tea rather. Reverse, last one. Beautiful. From here, keep holding the block to now use it as support for Trikonasana, triangle pose. So pivot from the pelvis, lengthen your torso away from the hips. Place the block down to the mat, adjust the block to your height you need. Lift it higher if you're struggling to keep the chest lifted and open. Stack wrist over wrist, maybe gazing upward to your right thumb. Squeeze your front ribs to your back ribs. Reach out just a bit more from the tailbone so you're feeling at space in your low back. Aiming your tailbone to your back heel a bit more. Beautiful. From here, it's half moon. Use your block. Bend your left knee. Take the block forward and out diagonally as you shift and lift. Try not to dump your upper body against the block, right? It's a support to bring the floor closer to you, the earth closer to you. And find that stacking of the arms, engaging through the glutes, engaging through our quads, pushing out to the top heel. Now we're going to switch the block to the top hand. So look down. Right hand will reach for the block. Left hand for the floor. Inhale, bring the block up. Push the block up towards the sky. Hold another 3, 2, on 1. Step back. Come into your goddess stance once again. Turn the toes out, heels in. Hold the block overhead. Eventually placing the block on your head. Again, maybe you need to stay here if you can't find that balance on the head. Otherwise, release your hands. Start with the cactus arm first. And then eagle, Garudasana, left arm over the right arm. Lift the elbows and line with the tops of the shoulders. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Press the arm bones away from your chin. Sit a little deeper through your hips as your front ribs snuggle to the back ribs. Breathe. Last breath. Beautiful. Unravel the arms first. Reach for the block. Inhale, straighten the arms up, straighten the legs. Pivot forward, find warrior one stance. Lunge into your front knee. Keep the back foot flat. Right? Wrap your right outer thigh, right outer hip forward. Close your front ribs to your back ribs. Hold. Take another breath. Then place the block just into your right hand. Left hand will come to your hip as you step your back foot forward. Come into your pyramid stance. So train track out the stance, right toe slightly angled forward. From here, again, the block only into your right hand, moving to Pavarita Trikonasana. As you hinge from the hips, reach the block forward, lengthen your spine. Gaze down to place the block next to your right foot. Inside, outside, somewhere by the foot, right? As long as you find your shoulder over the wrist. Then once you're supported, reach out left arm up to the sky. So you can clip your left hip back away from your left armpit to lengthen that left side. Right? You can always check out your low back. Right? I have a tendency to slope into my right hip a bit just because of just the way my hips are built. Take another breath. Exhale, slowly release. From here, keep the block where it is. Step your right foot back. We'll come into that supported pigeon pose. Toe heel your left foot over. Place the block underneath your left hip for that support. Right? Once you're supported, maybe that gives you the opportunity to scoot the shin forward, but make sure that the knee and the ankle are still aligned with each other. Flex the foot. Dig the pinky side of your foot firmly against your mat. Decide to stay upright. Or walk the hands forward and fold forward. Again, so taking these moments just to kind of come into our body, notice the difference that you feel in using that prop. And even though there's a moment of pause and a moment where we're holding a posture, try not to let your mind wander. Stay connected with the movement of the breath. One more moment. And from here, start to walk both hands back in. We'll come into a three-legged downward dog. Curl the back toes under. Sweep your left leg back and up in the air. Maybe give it a little shake. And then step that same foot forward to the top as we lower the back knee. Take the block and maybe place it first underneath your right hand. Again, you can always change that later on. But as you toe heel your left foot over, right, so you're a little heavier through your pelvis, sweep your left arm back and around. I like to do this so that we move through that movement of our shoulder joint, right? A lot of times people just go and reach back, right? And it kind of locks into the shoulder. So if you utilize a big movement in the shoulder, it gives you space. Reach for the foot, and if you can't, right, reach back anyway. Once you've got a hold of it, decide to stay with your hand on the block. Maybe you'll ditch the block, you'll lower the forearm down. Right? So as you kick the foot against your hand, let your pelvis sink down and forward. Getting that stretch into the quadriceps of your right leg, through the psoas. Then this left leg, let the knee kind of splay away. Right, rolling more to the pinky side of the foot without collapsing. Right, you want to stay active through the foot to protect your ankle. Another breath. And then we'll exhale, release that. From here, toe heel your left foot over. Start with the half split first. Take the block, slide it to the left back side, and then we're going to slowly sit on down. You can lean your left first, bisect out your calf muscle, and then tuck the heel, the inner foot closer to your outer hip. Again, if it's too much on the knee, spin the leg around like Janushirasana and place the foot inside your inner thigh. Once you're set, notice if your pelvis is neutral, and if not, you're leaning more to your left. This is where you'll place your block and wedge it underneath your left hip. Feel free to stay upright, neutral pelvis, spine is long, or start to walk your hands forward, lengthening forward before you make your way down, gazing towards the toes or gazing down to the shin, just making sure the spine is long, the neck is in line with the spine. Breathe here. Then inhale, look forward. Exhale to slowly release. Walk your hands all the way forward. Take the block, set it to the side. Come into plank pose. Decide your exit. If you want to kind of play with hopping in a handstand, go for it. If you want to skip your vinyasa, go for it. I'll see you in downward facing dog regardless. From here, go ahead and inhale, glide forward to plank. Lower the knees to the mat. Go ahead and reach for that block and place it behind your toes, right? So behind the toes. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and curl the toes under against the block. Now, just depending on who you are, your stance, maybe you'll need 2 blocks, right? So just check out your feet. Like part of my pinky toes are kind of dangling off, just so I can maintain that balance of our legs with my hips, right? So if you're a little bigger than me, a little taller than me, you might need 2 blocks next to each other just to support your feet. But the toes will stay curled under against your block. Then from here, lift your hips up, right? So we're going to practice camel pose with this block. From here, go ahead and slide your hands. I like palms down, but you can always turn the fingertips up. But for this version, if you're going to do with me, palms down, pressing the heel of the hands against your sacrum, right? And so the action here is you're not only just going to help push your hips forward, but also you're pushing down at the same time, like you're pushing your glutes down, so it gives you space in your lower back. From here is I'm placing the palms against my sacrum. I'm going to lift my shoulders up to the ears and then loop them back. So now my shoulder blades are connected more, my inner elbows are hugging in. Neck is free, collarbones wide. Now as I push my hands against my sacrum, at the same time pushing down towards my glutes, I'll lift out of my lower back. Toes are curled into the block. Either stay here or maybe reach for your heels, right? And if that's too intense, you can always place your hands to your low back. Again, continue to move your pelvis forward, firm up the quads, lift out of the low back, gaze up, hold, 3, 2, and 1. Place your hands to the back, lift up from the heart, and slowly release. Take your feet off the block, pat the feet. Nice. So camel pose once again, and this time I'm going to use 2 blocks, and I'm going to switch out the blocks only because I don't have a block that's very similar to this one. So I'm going to take these wooden blocks, and I'm placing them to the outside of my ankles, right? You can, again, adjust the height. I'm going to change the second height only because I'm afraid they're going to fall. But again, you can always take them at the highest height. Separate your legs, your feet at hip width. You can always take this other block. If you have more than 2 blocks, wedge it in between your thighs. Same action. Spin the inner thighs back, right? You can start the same way. Hands against your sacrum. Fingers down, fingers up. You choose your preference. Lift the shoulder heads up, back, and down. Hug your shoulder blades in, your inner elbows in. Nudge the pelvis forward. Lift out of your lower back. From here, reach one hand down for the block. The other hand for the block. Right? And then press your pelvis forward. Now I can actually lift them higher. It gives me a little bit more space for my low back. Right? Hold. Another 3, 2. Lead with the chest. Inhale. Release the block away from my thighs. Exhale, release, and just pause here, breathe. All right. From here, let's go ahead and take the blocks off to the side. You're going to end up on your back. We're going to practice bridge pose from here. So place the block back in between your inner feet, just like we did earlier in our prayer squats. So the shorter edge of the block. I like it in between my feet. And again, maybe you're a little taller than me, your stance is a little bit more, your hips are a little wider than me. You can take 2 blocks, maybe adjust it so you see what your hip width distance will be. For me, this 1 block is pretty sufficient. So I'm going to place it in between my feet, walking my heels in closer. Right away I can kind of find that stacking of my knees over the heels as much as I can. Then I'm going to go ahead and lower down onto my back. Once I'm on my back, okay, I'm going to, again, engage my feet without knocking in through the knees. You can always take another block, place it between your inner thighs if you like as well. Go ahead and inhale. Start to lift your pelvis off the mat. Start to snuggle your upper arms underneath your back, like you're trying to hide your upper arms. Clasp your fingers, extend the arms straighter, push down against your triceps to help lift the chest, and then take the chin away from the chest as you press your skull gently against your mat. So now you're keeping the throat open, right? So push down against your heels as you're squeezing through your inner feet, right? Like you're trying to slide your feet forward. Lift your pelvis up, breathe here, inner thighs rotate in and down to the mat. Another 3, 2, release your hands, release each arm, articulate the spine, a slight tuck of the tailbone as you lower so that you can feel your low back touch before your glutes do, and then settle in, right? Then from here, 1 more time bridge pose, or practice Urdhva Dhanurasana with that block in between your feet. So place your hands for your upward facing bow, hands at the tops of the shoulders. Just like we were holding that block earlier, point the elbows up, wrap your triceps forward. Go ahead and use your next inhale, press up into your back. All right, and then you'll notice here I can kind of walk my feet in closer, but I'm going to make sure I can feel the inner edges of my feet pushing against the block, so I'm less likely to turn my toes out. So really working on that inner leg line again. Hold another breath. And then very slowly release, back of the head, and then lowering down. So again, from here, it's your practice. Pause the video, add a couple more back bends, bridge, or Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow. And then after you're done, we'll completely ditch the block. Hug both knees into your chest, little rock side to side. And then from here, go ahead and fan both arms out to the side. Cross your right knee over your left knee. Scoot your hips a bit to the right as you drop your knees left for a nice spinal twist. Then inhale, bring the legs to center, switch up the cross, and then drop the knees over towards your right for your spinal twist. Inhale, come back through center. Unravel the legs, hug both knees in Apanasana, or come into Happy Baby. Reach for the outside edges of your feet. Press your feet up against your fingertips, like trying to push them to the sky as you pull your thighs outside your ribs. Reach out from the base of the spine so you find that grounding of your sacrum. Either remain static, or you can simply rock a little side to side. And almost in your upper body, you want to kind of puff your chest up, kind of feeling a bit of a really slight cobra in through the upper back. So then you can take the soles of your feet together. Like Baddha Konasana, pull the heels downward towards your sit bones. Push against the soles of the feet. Let the knees splay out wide. Keep the feet connected and then lower the feet to the mat. Because we're using blocks, last time to use them, you can take blocks and wedge them underneath your thighs. Again, you can adjust the height of the block and either remain like so for the next few moments to rest in Shavasana like so, or as you extend the legs straight, you can take the blocks and support them right above, not at the back of the knee, right above there, right at the, right above that part of the back of the knee, and then just taking rest in Shavasana this way. It's a great way just to feel that support at the thighs, to release a little bit more into your pelvis, and let your body release, relax, and take a few moments here